I'm Ryan Betson from the PopCulturists, and I'm here with Rich Lambert, the creative director of Elder Scrolls Online. How are you, man?
I'm good.
So we're at PAX Australia 2019. It's a good convention so far, but so you're here to talk about Elder Scrolls, presumably. So earlier in the year, you released Elsewhere, the big expansion. How's that been going for you?
It's been great. You know, players have genuinely loved digging into dragons and the necromancer and the Khajiit culture. So it's been really good.
Because one of the questions that I have for you, hence why I'm here, is around, because you brought dragons in here, so the big thing that people fell in love with Skyrim. So with ESO, are your plans to work on existing lore, or do you guys want to create your own lore within that whole Elder Scrolls thing?
We try to do a little bit of both. So we are in a very different time period than Skyrim. Skyrim was 4th era. I hope I got that right. We're in the 2nd era, so we're 1,000 years before the events that happened in Skyrim. Mm-hmm. So we're able to take things that you've only read little bits about in the books and turn them into actual playable things. And we've been able to build on the lore and the stories. You know, we got to focus more on the orcs with Orsinium and telling stories about that. And we dug really deeply into the Altmer culture when we did Somerset and so on and so forth. So the Bethesda team gives us a lot of latitude to, you know, improve and build on the lore that's already existing, which is really, really great.
So have you had fun, creating your own stuff? Because, as you said, the benefit of time, all these things could presumably be long gone before, you know, the other games that are in time. Mm-hmm. So have you had that fun of just making brand new things? Yeah,
we've done a lot of that kind of stuff, and even giving a little nod to the future. Mm-hmm. You know, we've done that as well with Morrowind. We actually showed Vivek City still under construction. You know, the ghost fence wasn't erected, so we got to do a lot of that kind of stuff, and it's tons of fun.
So this is the big hitting thing that's come out this week is the announcement of the next generation with the PS5 and Xbox coming out next year. Now, ESO's already had an incredibly long lifespan, which is amazing. Does that plan to continue into the next year? I don't know if you can't talk too much, but I mean, is that plan to keep it going? Is the support's going to not stop?
Yeah, I mean, this is a game that I've personally been working on for 12 years now. And I have plans for the future of ESO. We're not going to slow down. It's in a really good place. The game is continuing to grow. Mm-hmm. You know, a 5-year-old game that's still growing, it's pretty special. So, yeah.
Because it's fantastic. So, you don't tend to, in my circle at least, I don't hear a lot about ESO. However, it's also everywhere in a really good way. So although within my clique it's not very common, but I step out of it and it's blasted. So you've seen almost like a sustained growth throughout this whole time with all these expansions. Is that difficult to manage as the game continues to grow, even with the back catalogue of expansions and whatnot?
Well, the beauty of Elder Scrolls and the lore is it's told from multiple perspectives, but it's also this huge world. So we've done a lot in terms of trying to fill out the map. We still have a lot more space to go, but we also have the realms of Oblivion to go and explore as well. We've only touched
that was actually my next question.
We've only touched a little bit on that, so there's no shortage of stories and places to go.
Because Oblivion is the game that got me into Elder Scrolls. That was the one I lost hundreds of hours in when I should have been doing school things. So that was my next question, because I know you've put the Imperial City and that sort of Citadel in there. Citadel, yeah. So I was wondering, are you going to push forward into the likes of Oblivion?
We've done bits and pieces of that. You know, each Daedric Prince kind of has their own realized realm of Oblivion. Cyrodiil, you know, that's in Elder Scrolls Online right now, that was based off of the game Oblivion. So it's that entire landmass is there. Digging deeper into exploring Sheogorath and Mafala, and we've done those bits, so there's still a lot more to go.
So this is a good sign that you're going deep with lore. Those last few words, way over my head. So those
are a few of the Daedric Princes.
Oh, I mean that in a good way, as in you guys are going super hard, which is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it.
So is there anything that you particularly would like to touch upon in just personal, not as a collective, but something that you really want to just kind of narrow in on?
Well, I love the concept of the Daedra, the Daedric Princes. I love that concept, and love how they interact with the world. So that is kind of a thing that I've always wanted to do, is explore that more.
Fantastic. I got distracted by Oblivion. Now I'm excited about about Oblivion.
That was the first game I ever worked on when I came to Bethesda.
Really?
Yeah, it was
Fantastic. Yeah. So how is that growth from working with Oblivion to then shifting to an online model where it's obviously very single player focused in a set location? How does that translate to the online space?
I would say that it was a learning experience for us. Launch of PC was probably not our best foot forward, but over the years we've learned how to tell better stories, how to not separate players, and how to really kind of capture the essence of Elder Scrolls in an online space.
One thing that instantly sells me an ESO anytime I think about it is when you have these incredible cinematic trailers that drop right before launch. Remember that first one being just absolutely blowing me away, as well as the ones that come out for each expansion. How do you achieve such amazing cinematics? Like, it's so mind-blowingly amazing. It's like movie level stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we work with a number of really super talented teams to build those. And a lot of times what we do is we just kind of riff back and forth with them on, here's the general points that we want to convey in the story. This Season of the Dragon thing, we worked with Blur to develop these trailers. And they instantly got into this concept, this idea of this is a story about dragons and revenge. And they just nailed it. They blew us all away with what they were able to come up with.
So I know we're circling back to sort of the creating of it, because that's the part that interests me the most. Is I like having a lore that you can expand upon and have fun with. Has there been something very specific that you've truly had fun creating?
Yeah, it was the very first DLC that we released. It was called Orsinium. And that was all about the orcs and kind of their culture and what they were. And there was very little to almost nothing in the lore about them. Yeah, so fantastic. We went through and we were able to really develop that and really come up with their culture and show that to the players. Now,
I know this is like the worst question to ask anyone that's ever done Bethesda stuff.
Okay.
I know, look, 6, forever away. Let's not even talk about it. But in your roadmap, would there be, I know it's like so far down the line, will you be working alongside it? Would there be because granted it's obviously different times as you mentioned, but is there...
And different teams too.
And different teams, yes. Yes, you can go as a ZeniMax Online and their Softworks. But I mean that in terms of, would there be that discussion amongst the teams about, hey, you want to drip feed some stuff over here and work over there? Is that something you'd look into?
I mean, we work really closely with them. We have to.
Yeah.
We're working on the same IP, and they're the IP holders. And yeah, it would be awesome to do that kind of stuff. Like I said, we talk with them all the time. We have lots of really zany, creative ideas to build things in the world, and they sometimes have to talk us out of those things. So it goes both ways, I'd like to think.
In a completely unrelated note, while you're here at PAX, has there been any games you've gone and checked out and played and had some fun with? Have you checked out like Doom Eternal, the other Bethesda id Software game here?
I've played Doom Eternal several times at several different shows. It's amazing. Just walking down the indie area. I haven't had a lot of time to go and explore yet, but when I was coming in, walking through there, and there's a number of games there that just make me go, how does that work? I have to go and check that out. That looks interesting.
So the indie space is very cool. So we're based, we're about an hour and a half out in the country, and there's a little development team here from this even smaller town near us. It's absolutely fantastic. So is that sort of your big space when you go to PAX, is like the indie stuff?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I love seeing the creativity and the kind of the freedom. It's I don't want to say there's no rules in the on the indie side, but it's a little bit more free form, if you will. And seeing that creativity is awesome.
So does seeing that freedom in that creative space of the independence, does that help fuel you? Does that drop little ideas in your head?
Yeah, and you get inspiration from all sorts of places. From the indie scene, from books, from TV, from movies, even sports. So it's kind of the everyday life kind of stuff that really helps fuel all of that.
Very cool. Well, thank you very much for your time. Sure. I know I asked some good questions and very odd questions, but thank you very much for your time, Rich. It's actually fantastic to meet you. No problem. Go check out Elder Scrolls Online as the expansion for Elsewhere came out in June. It's all ready to go. Check it out.